the Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. It's been several days since its release, and I just wanted to talk mostly on what's new and what's not. Stay tuned as we talk about that. Samsung has a pattern when changing their designs. Every 2 years they have a major redesign, and every 1 year they have a slight improvement. But for this year, however, with their Galaxy S9, they have one major big improvement, which is the camera. That's mostly what's new with the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. Besides the bezels and as well as the change of the location of the fingerprint sensor, that's what's mostly new, honestly. Now, starting off with the camera. First of all, I'm pretty sure most of you already heard of the term dual aperture. This is the amazing thing about the Galaxy S9, and this is also why it became one of the world's best smartphone cameras. In all honesty, it's already number 1 on DxO marks, and it has beaten the Google Pixel 2 as well as the iPhone 10. Also, for the record, I am actually using my iPhone 10 right now for recording this video, so it would be great if you could check suggestions, give me suggestions rather, because this is the first time that I'm using my iPhone 10's camera for video recording for my channel on YouTube. It's 4K at 60. That's one thing, by the way. Anyways, dual aperture. This is a term that Samsung has actually used with their latest Galaxy S9. Basically, instead of a fixed aperture, as opposed to most phones, actually almost every single phone, besides the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus, you're able to, or you're rather given the option to have two apertures. That's an aperture of f1.5 and an aperture of f2.4. Now, let's actually first dive into the fixed aperture. One of the biggest flaws with smartphone cameras is the fact that you can't change your lenses, as opposed to DSLRs, where you could actually change the lenses to change your apertures according to what you're taking, at what time, and where it's located, as well as the lighting conditions. With the Galaxy S9, they've made it so that you could actually do this by it adjusting its physical aperture by changing something inside, and you can actually see it in real time. You could actually see it physically changing its aperture if you change the aperture, and just looking at the camera, you could actually see it change. It goes smaller and bigger depending on the aperture you select. With the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus, you have the choice to either change the aperture automatically or manually. Automatically would mostly be for most consumers and those who are not really aware with cameras. It would automatically adjust according to the lighting conditions. If it's dark or not, it would adjust to its aperture, whether it's 1.5 or 2.4. For professional photographers who use their smartphones, however, you have the ability to change it manually, as I've stated earlier. You could change it if you have some specific effect you want, and that's what makes this camera more flexible as opposed to the previous Samsung phones, or actually every smartphone in general, since most smartphones, actually, as I've stated again, almost every smartphone except the Galaxy S9 has a fixed aperture. That's mostly the biggest feature on the S9's camera, the dual aperture. Besides that, you have the super slow-mo, which gives you the ability to take videos up to 960 FPS. Now, this is impressive since the highest FPS count for slow-mo on a smartphone was 240 FPS with the iPhone 10. But now, Samsung beaten them, which is why it gave them another reason to be on number 1 as of now. This is actually impressive since you could actually radically slow down time. And on my iPhone 10, the slow-mo is good, but it's not as good as the Galaxy S9. This is one of the cases where you have to see it to believe it. You could actually try it yourself by visiting your nearest Samsung store, and they have those weird experiment things like that car that turns, and then you could borrow the demo unit and then take a video of that, and then you can see how fast those things move and radically slow them down and see them actually slower than the actual thing. This is actually impressive since, as I've stated earlier, only professional cameras can actually take high frame rates as this. Now, the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus are mostly the same. The only difference are the batteries, as well as the screen size, and also the dual camera. The Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus has a dual camera setup, just like the iPhone 7 Plus, 8 Plus, and 10, as well as the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, and it's basically what separates it from the Galaxy S9. Since it has a wide angle and telephoto lens with, again, dual apertures. Besides the dual aperture and the super slow-mo, it's still mostly the same camera, except with slight improvements which led it to become the world's best smartphone camera. But in all honesty, I went to a Samsung store recently and compared it with my iPhone 10, I don't see much of a big difference. The only difference lies with the night camera, or rather, night shots with the camera. Besides that, the iPhone 10 as well as the Google Pixel are still great cameras, or well, smartphone cameras. But besides that, the Galaxy S9 takes it away with its night shots with its variable apertures. Besides the camera, the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus are still pretty much the same phone as the Galaxy S8. It just has a faster processor, and you have the option of the 6GB RAM, as well as slight smaller bezels. Although, to actually see the difference with the S8 and S9 on the bezels, you actually have to bring them close to each other and actually try to look at it to actually see the slight difference, since the difference is so small that you can't really notice it. From the front, you could actually say that that's a Galaxy S9, that's a Galaxy S8, and mix them both and confuse yourself because it's really much the same phone on the front. But don't get me wrong, having the same design isn't really bad. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, I honestly like the front of the Galaxy S9. I mean, even Apple hasn't changed the design since the iPhone 6 all the way to the iPhone 8. They only changed the design on the iPhone 10, but the back is still mostly the same, except they just flipped it 90 degrees and made it a little bigger and moved the flash and the mic onto the lens itself. But besides that, the Galaxy S9 is still the same phone. Lastly, the relocation of the fingerprint sensor. This is why Samsung is still one of the best Android brands, at least in my opinion, since they listen to their customers, listen to the advice, listen to the feedback, and they actually implement this on as soon as possible. That's the great thing about Samsung. They apologize, they admit their mistakes, as well as having a good PR or public relationship. If you're gonna ask me if the difference with the S9 from the S8 is worth it, if you're going for the camera, I'd say it's really a good upgrade. Besides the camera though, it's still pretty much the same phone, except the fingerprint sensor being moved to the back and a faster processor, as well as 6GB of RAM for the other variant. Anyways, that's about it. If you like this video, you know how the like button works, and if you didn't, you can go ahead and dislike it. It would be great if you could follow me on Facebook, SoundCloud, and Twitter, as well as subscribing to my channel on YouTube. Also, by the way, just a quick announcement, I just really want to thank you guys for 700 followers on my Twitter. It would be great also if you haven't followed me yet, please do. It would be a great help for me, so I could actually increase my subscribers too, since most of my advertising and my promotion comes from my Twitter, and I send the links to my YouTube channel, and it could help me grow a lot. Honestly, thank you guys. 700 followers. Please follow me, it's at Nadds Music. Anyways, also, one more thing. I would also like to hear your feedback on my latest camera, or smartphone camera, which is my iPhone 10. I'm also going to edit this, probably add some color grading on Adobe Premiere, and probably I just want to hear your feedback on how my quality looks. Anyways, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.